he said to them,
When I sent you out with no money bag, or knapsack, or sandals, did you lack anything?
They said,
Nothing.
And he said to them,
But now, let the one who has a money bag take it, and likewise a knapsack. And let the one who has no sword sell his cloak and buy one. For I tell you that this scripture must be fulfilled in me. And he was numbered with the transgressors. For what is written about me has its fulfillment.
And they said,
Look, Lord, here are 2 swords.
And he said to them,
It is enough.
And he came out and went, as was his custom, to the Mount of Olives, and the disciples followed him.
And when he came to the place, he said to them,
Pray that you may not enter into temptation.
and he withdrew from them about a stone's throw, and knelt down and prayed, saying,
Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done.
And there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him.
And being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. And when he rose from prayer, he came to the disciples and found them sleeping for sorrow. And he said to them,
Why are you sleeping? Rise and pray that you may not enter into temptation.
While he was still speaking, there came a crowd, and the man called Judas, one of the 12, was leading him. He drew near to Jesus to kiss him, but Jesus said to him,
Judas, would you betray the Son of Man with a kiss?
And when those who were around him saw what would follow, they said,
Lord, shall we strike with the sword?
And one of them struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear. But Jesus said,
No more of this.
And he touched his ear and healed him. When Jesus said to the chief priests and officers of the temple and elders who had come out against him,
Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs? When I was with you day after day in the temple, you did not lay hands on me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness.
Then they seized him and led him away, bringing him into the high priest's house. And Peter was following at a distance. And when they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down together, Peter sat down among them. Then the servant girl, seeing him as he sat in the light and looking closely at him, said,
This man also was with him.
But he denied it, saying,
Woman, I do not know him.
And a little later someone else saw him and said,
You also are one of them.
But Peter said,
Man, I am not.
And after an interval of about an hour, still another insisted, saying,
Certainly this man also was with them, for he too is a Galilean.
Peter said,
Man, I do not know what you're talking about.
and immediately, while he was still speaking, the rooster crowed.
And the Lord turned and looked at Peter. And Peter remembered the saying of the Lord, how he had said to him, Before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times. And he went out and wept bitterly.
Now the men who were holding Jesus in custody were mocking him as they beat him. They also blindfolded him and kept asking him,
Prophesy, who is it that struck you?
And they said many other things against him, blaspheming him. When day came, the assembly of the elders of the people gathered together, both chief priests and the scribes. And they led him away to their council, and they said,
If you are the Christ, tell us.
But he said to them,
If I tell you, you will not believe. And if I ask you, you will not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man shall be seated at the right hand of the power of God.
So they all said,
Are you the Son of God then?
And he said to them,
You say that I am.
Then they said,
What further testimony do we need? We have heard it ourselves from his own lips.